Hello everyone. Welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy. Welcome to the session on 31/2023 guys. So in this session, let us discuss about certain important things. Bharat Jodo Yatra has given an alternative vision of politics. Not required. Odisha minister shot dead by former security officer. So guys, in Odisha, health minister has been shot dead and it is done by assistant sub inspector and that is in news, so not required. Just giving you. Hindenburg report driven by an ulterior motive, says Adani Group. Yes, there is two debates going on. One is trying to say that they are trying to target India, one in the form of BBC, another one in the form of Hindenburg Group, because it is Adani Group which is going to help Modi to win elections. But whatever is the case, right, when there is something going on, it is not bad to do certain sort of what you call as inquiries, because in India we already have a history where we trusted few politicians and we trusted few businessmen, but they left the country. So this is called crony capitalism. I'm not trying to say here that Adani is corrupt or not, but when someone gives us hints that something might have happened, what is wrong in testing it? So the funds which are invested in this is either LIC or SBI, which is state government funds. And if this money is diverted, then precautionary measures are much more important. On the other hand, Hindenburg Group has told that for 2 years we have worked across the countries and finally we have come to this conclusion. But the point is, the group has only 5 members, and why are they giving the report? It's not any amnesty or human rights report, but they are giving the report only because they wanted some investments. So the tussle will continue, but you people as administrative thinkers should always think about the legal processes, guys. Student enrollments in higher studies rose by 7.5% in 2020-21. AISH data, AISHE, data. Guys, in these things, what is more important for us is about, certain datas that we can write in our mains. So you can just write 2 or 3 words. All India survey on higher education. All India survey on higher education has given a report has given a report saying that saying that in 2020-21, enrollments to higher education has started increasing. Full stop. There is increase in student enrollments student enrollments among SC, ST, OBCs. So after this, in Narega reforms, prioritize the worker and her dues. So guys, mg narega is a very very important act of India which ensured that for rural people 100 days of employment was actually provided, guys. You might have heard about this. It's a very very significant one, mg narega, right, where the main focus was to ensure that rural people are provided some work, especially landless laborers get enough work, 100 days of work. Because in India, we have seasonal unemployment. In some parts of the country where there is no enough rainfall, they hardly grow one or two crops. Remaining time, they do not have work. To ensure that those people are given work, they went for what we call as Narega. Unfortunately, in India, what happened? Most of these Narega scheme did not focus on creating assets, but it focused on just giving employment. So they told locally in a village, whatever is important, you try to do that. So let's say in one village, lake is important. In another village, like irrigation water taken to the agricultural field is important. In another area, road was important, toilets were important. So they were given the priority to go with it. Because of this, it was not in a proper manner. At that point of time, what happened? Some people in rural areas, if you observe, they take JCB until the entire pond, and then they try to give money to the people rather than making work from them. So let's say you need not come to work, but you will get 50 rupees. So like this, they tried to create so that corruption increased. So what government did? Government wanted to bring reforms where direct benefit transfer was provided to these. Unfortunately, when you go for direct benefit things, normally what is going to happen? Some people will be left out who do not have accounts and all. People who do not know how to operate accounts, those people will be left behind and they will have several issues. Yes, so these are certain things which has led to issues. So guys, under the new reforms, they are trying to suggest a few things. And remember, we cannot suggest to government until and unless there is some sense to it. Fine. So let us not waste our time in such aspects. India's regulatory framework must infuse confidence in investors, savers. So that is what they are trying to say, that if I have to save my money, I need to be confident enough that the money that I save is invested in the right place for right purposes. And if they try to invest it in Adani Group and all, and if I'm not trusting it, then it is going to hurt. Djokovic has made Melbourne his own with a 10th title. Yes, that was like superb game. So it is all about the game. Revisit the tax treatment of tobacco products. Guys, he's trying to say you need to increase the taxes and all. Such things is for the government, guys. We should not be telling. We can just give one point, not a complete article on that. The Indian university is in a free fall, right? So normally what is going to happen is whenever political parties change, universities will be severely affected, mainly because each political party want to have its own ideology to be rubbed against others. As you see, the number of articles today are very very less, not so important. Shortfall of specialist doctors in rural areas was 80% in 2022. This India is a country where you can criticize anyone at any point of time for any reason, because complete development can never happen. When I recollect 2013, 14, 15, during that particular time, one of the biggest challenge for us is to have rural doctors, right? We did not have rural doctors at all. Finding doctors to go and work was very difficult. At that time, the governments had the idea that if you have done MBBS, it is mandatory that 1 year of service you should do in the rural areas. This was mandatory at that time because we did not find doctors. But now we are finding doctors mainly because thanks to the connectivity. Like, I can go in the morning, again come back. So, because of the connectivity, yes, to some extent, doctors are available. Fine, very good aspect that we have seen. But you see the other way around, guys. Now they are telling that shortfall of specialist doctors in rural areas are 80%. So now they are criticizing that yes, you have doctors, but you do not have proper specialization. Yes. So it's very important for us to know things happen over a period of time, because when I look at answers of few students when they are writing, they try to criticize based on the article completely. Yes, please understand we are in a progress. Yes, you suggest that yes, there has been improvement. Now we need to focus on increasing specialized doctors as well. At least like doctors who can go round. Now, for example, in a hospital only, if you have all doctors, specialized doctors, we won't consult everyone because, like, not everyone is important. Only when you have a disease or a disorder, you go, and that percentage is also less. So, we need to look at something like, where the doctors can move around, or whenever the issue is there, they can come and address it, right? Yeah. Lessons from Ukraine war. Unmanned aerial vehicles, missiles are likely future threats. Everyone, when Russia attacked Ukraine, felt that the war will be over in a month maximum. But Ukraine fought back. It's been 1 year. Ukraine is still fighting. The world has realized it's not about the number of weapons you have, it's not about the number of soldiers you have, it is about the technology that you have. I may have technology, but my armed forces are not in a position to use the technology, is also not beneficial. So I need world's best technology. I need good technology to hit, and all those will come only when we are looking into these aspects. I hope it's clear. So, Ukraine today is able to fight because of unmanned aerial vehicles and missiles. This can be a mains question this year, guys, where they are focusing on, like, the technology in the war, which plays a very important role when you are fighting. Joshimath like disaster could strike Hillock in Guwahati. So that can also have, like, there are many places now in news where they're all thinking that there is a possibility of having Joshimath like circumstances. Because this entire article is actually talking about what type of missiles do we require. It's not specific to India, but it is specific to world. That's why it's not important. But definitely there can be a question about the better technologies that you have. Mirage black box not required. Subcategorization committee for OBCs get 14th extension. If they are trying to categorize OBCs further, this is for election purposes. Spread the word on scheme for middle class, PM to ministers. LIC continues to bet big on Adani Group. So guys, the Adani Group issue would continue for long. workers' issues, trade unions to meet today. India has done well in terms of aggregate growth over the last year. Former chief economic advisor hopes the budget will treat unemployment and alarming inequality. Guys, these two words will always be there in any part of the world, not just India. The main reason for this is we are not in a position, to ensure that the wealth that is created is equal to number of jobs that are created. Because definitely when wealth is created, majority of it will go to few people and others have to work for them. So that leads to imbalances. Congress releases final list of candidates for Meghalaya polls. Rahul targets Modi, says India has to deal firmly with China. PM made it possible for Rahul to hoist tricolor. Tipra announces, see, today's articles are not so good. Mesmerizing beating retreat ceremony celebrations. JDU president to attend KCR. Officials see organized attempt to foment trouble in Jammu region, right? So they are trying to see that in some areas people are trying to do a systematic attack, and especially these are the areas which are border to Pakistan, guys. RTI portal bars new accounts, users to fill data for every form. Man Ki Baat PM calls for relentless efforts to strengthen the republic not required. Israel takes steps to punish the families of terrorists. This is bad, guys. Like, if anyone in the family is a terrorist, you can't blame that entire one is familiar. They cannot terrorists, but they are trying steps to take it so that, no one will enter into terrorism. Sunak sacks conservative, 17 students among 59 people killed in two accidents in Pakistan. Pakistan is going its worst phase, guys. Picking the right investments in turbulent times not required. Then you have sports. So guys, India won under 19 World Cup. A very, very important thing. Definitely questions will be asked in different exams. Fine. So just be aware. It was against England. Fine. So thank you, guys.